out here joined by a coalition of leaders not only in the Chinese community but throughout this community as well as other organizations to send a very clear and loud message that hate has no place in this borough, and not only should the Chinese community stand up in outrage over this incident, but all of us of goodwill should stand up and take notice that is not acceptable, and that's why we're here.
今日區長咧喺呢一度咧做呢一個咧記者招待會多謝大家。
Let's make it very clear. This is an attack not just against the Chinese community, it's an attack against all of us. And we are calling on the police to activate a hate crimes investigation, to bring the person responsible to justice, and for the district attorney to prosecute this person to the fullest extent of the law. This is a good neighborhood. This will not define who we are, but our response will define who we are.
We have many community leaders here, and we are speaking in one voice to say hate will not be tolerated. We will make sure that those who did it will be found, they will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and justice will be brought to those who perpetuated this criminal hate act.
今日咧雖然天氣好熱，但係咧我都要出嚟支持呢個活動，因為好多謝區長佢為中國人咧支持我哋，因為呢啲咁嘅種族歧視嘅事咧係好羞恥嘅事，因為我之所以嚟，因為咧我覺得咧佢哋咁樣做咧係詆毀中國人，唔係侮辱中國人啦。中國人喺度咧係好勤力做工，亦都唔生事，好愛和平嘅，但係咧居然受呢啲咁嘅攻擊，係唔公平咯。
Good afternoon. I am Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, and I am joined here with many of my colleagues that represent this area, as well as many leaders and citywide representatives. We wanted to just really come out and voice our outrage on this item that has been painted what looks like a stencil on many Chinese to shape their racist thought. This is a premeditated action, and today we're calling on the New York City Police Department to investigate this as a hate crime. And when you take this issue and what has happened to the Chinese community, and you add it with the incident that took place on June 26th on 6th Avenue and West 26th Street in Manhattan, a man using a walker was assaulted after his walk. The person was yelling anti-gay slurs. On July 31st, while riding the Coney Island bound N train, a South Korean woman was abused by a man who followed her. On July 16th, New York One reported that a Manhattan food vendor said a man beat him outside his cart in an anti-Muslim attack. A video went viral on a woman shouting hateful remarks to a Muslim woman wearing a hijab on the S53 bus. We took a ride over from Brooklyn into Staten Island. These 5 incidents, and this being the 6th type of incident, because there appear to have been 5 to 6 type of graffitis used and what we represent. And when you look at these other attacks, increase in anti-gay violence, an increase, a spike in hate crimes across the city, we cannot help but to raise our voice each time an incident of this magnitude takes place. We will not be silent, and we will ensure that anyone who's involved should be held accountable. And I'm going to add a $1,000 reward to any information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person who's responsible for this action. Anyone who has a video footage that they can turn over to the police department, we're asking all the businesses in this area to review their tapes and see if they saw someone in this vicinity to come forward. We must catch the person responsible for doing this. This is hateful, this is mean, this is attempting to degrade communities and create a level of terror in our communities, and is not accepted and won't be tolerated. Writing a term on the wall somewhere, this wasn't something that someone just happened to have stumbled upon. No, this was a premeditated action to identify a group and treat them in a disparaging, negative fashion. That, to me, says hate crime all over it, and that crime needs to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. That our various groups are here to stand with our Chinese and Asian community to state, you are not alone on fighting and pushing back this issue. You shouldn't be the ones that are saying it was wrong. Those of us who are your neighbors, and those of us who are your colleagues, those of us who worship with you and shop with you and participate in the beauty of the diversity of Brooklyn with you, we must be the ones to stand up and say, this will not be tolerated in our borough and in our city and in our country. So I want to thank Councilman Traeger, who we reached out to and spoke last night, immediately responded to this incident, and asked him to say a few words at this time. Councilman Traeger.
I want to thank Borough President Adams and his office for their swift response and for their leadership, for all of my colleagues here from the state, and citywide officials, leaders, and advocates. Let me be very clear. This is one of the sickest hate crimes that we've experienced here in this neighborhood in recent memory. This is a sick, despicable, deranged hate crime perpetrated not just against the Chinese community, but against all people here in this neighborhood. We condemn, denounce, and reject this type of hate and intolerance. I want to also make very clear, this hate crime does not define who we are. This is a diverse, wonderful, beautiful neighborhood made up of hardworking families, seniors, and children that celebrate and welcome diversity. That is what makes us great. That is what makes us great. As the borough president noted, we're seeing hate crimes rise across not just the borough, but across the city and across the country. To me, there is no surprise of the anti-immigrant divisive rhetoric that we're seeing across the country, and it's hitting home. But let's make it very clear. We will always stand up against hate here in Bensonhurst and here in Brooklyn. I have been in touch with the 62nd Precinct Captain and his office, as well as the NYPD presence that is here, and we appreciate the NYPD. We are insisting that this hate crime be treated as a hate crime, and we want the Hate Crimes Task Force to be immediately activated to investigate who did this and bring them to justice. And I have confidence in the NYPD because there are cameras here. Businesses do have video coverage of what happened. And I have confidence in the NYPD that we will bring this person or these people to justice. And once they do, I'm calling upon the district attorney to prosecute this person to the fullest extent of the law. Zero tolerance for hate. Stop the 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 hate. Diversity and unity will triumph always. Thank you, Borough President.
This is our amazing Senator Diane Savino.
Thank you, Eric. Borough President, I echo the words of my wonderful colleague, Councilman Traeger. We must send a message, a very clear message, that this community and every community across this city rejects this hate crime. I heard a reporter ask a few minutes ago, why do you think this is a hate crime? Well, if you look in the penal code, it's pretty simple. If you target a group or a gender because of their ethnicity, their race, their sex, that is the definition of a hate crime in the New York State Penal Code. And we are saying very simply, we are going to find this person. Because, you know, he may be a criminal, but apparently he's not that smart. There's cameras all over the place. We're going to find him. But I want to speak to him directly right now. Because I want to remind him that the likelihood is he may only be a first or a second generation American himself, as I am, as many of us are in this community. He should remember the stories that his grandparents told him about how they were welcomed. You know, we're in a nation of immigrants, and we like to talk about that we have an open door policy for people coming here. But usually when they get here, we don't treat them particularly well. If you are Irish, you should remember the experience of your great-grandparents when they arrived and the signs went up, Irish need not apply. If you're Italian American immigrant, like my great-grandparents were, when you got here, they weren't rolling out the welcome mat for you. The names, the derogatory terms that Americans can develop for people who move to this country are really outstanding. It's amazing. They can come up with all sorts of insults. But what we saw from this person was that an insult that every woman should decry. Not just the Chinese American women, but I stand here with my sisters who are Chinese American and Chinese immigrants. And I say clearly, we reject that. Do not degrade us for your own entertainment. Do not treat women this way in any language. We are not going to accept this, not in this community, not in Coney Island, not in Brighton Beach, not in Staten Island, not in Greenwich Village, not in Harlem. Nowhere in this city will we stand and accept this. So we're going to find you, whoever you are, and you're going to hang your head in shame, and you're going to get prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law by our wonderful Brooklyn District Attorney, because what you did is reprehensible and it is a crime.
Our great Assemblyman Bill Colton.
The Borough President, Councilman Mark Traeger, Senator Diane Savino, all of our elected officials here, because this is an important moment. This is a moment when a community stands together and condemns what is clearly a vicious, vulgar hate crime. This was done with pre-thought. This was done by somebody who took the trouble to make the instruments of their hate and use those implements to put them, to write them, to paint them on buildings that did not belong to that person. So this is something we must come together and we must speak out against. Every person in this neighborhood becomes a victim equally together with them. So we're going to continue speaking that out. I also want to thank my District Leader, Nancy Tong. She was here with me on 86th Street last night as we viewed the scene. We spoke to some of the store owners, and we are not going to remain silent, but we are all joining together in speaking out against this hate crime. So together we are united. Hate must stop. 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 Together, that's the message, and I hope it's loud and clear and it reaches the ears of those people who perpetuated this terrible crime. Thank you very much.
While we have Nancy, please say a few words this morning.
This is America. I'm really very disappointed. It should not happen here. Especially, I take this personally. Why am I taking this personally? I have my own United Progressive Democratic Club just around the corner here. And here they have two signs putting this up. You call this? It is a hate crime toward our community. Why don't they put somewhere else? They put it right here. So I take it personally. They are doing this to my community. This is not the generation, I'm pretty sure generations before they were immigrants. I myself is an immigrant. Why are you targeting a certain group? Especially right now, what they're saying over there is targeting our Asian people. And we're not going to be silent. And we need to catch whoever is doing this to us, because it should not be like this. It's so nice to live in here. We should all unite and get together, no matter what ethnic group you are. That's what America is all about. Yeah. America has a dream. That's why we all come here. We all immigrate here. So we should all live together as a whole, never divide. And that's how you get things done. Thank you.
Stephanie Wang from United Chinese Association.
I have been living here over 35 years, and it has never happened before. And this is the very beautiful, nice community in New York City. And we don't want this hate. So we need to work together, and we can make this community better. And I like to thank everybody stand up and speak up for us against this hate. This is hate crime.
Organizations from the Chinese community. The next person is Dr. Tim Lord, Chinese American.
I live in Brooklyn for 50 years. This is my first time to hear that. To hear that somebody do some very, very bad things to our community. I'm an educator, always educate our students and parents to tolerate the other ethnic group. Because other ethnic group, they bring their own culture, carry to each other, communicate each other, understand each other. This is the first day we gather here, the 86th Street. We must continue to fight. Don't stop right here, okay? Because this hate crime will be continued again and again. Thank you very much.
Our good friend from the Brooklyn Chinese Improvement Association, Rosita Chan.
We all know that all Asian immigrants since 18th century, we work hard and we pay high value on education. Unfortunately, Chinese character is very peaceful. They don't want to make trouble. And that is the reason we always target for racial comment. I was raised and taught being respect others and discipline. And this shameful act is totally unacceptable. This nation are built on immigrants. We should treat equally. Thank you.
The elected who's here, Ari Kagan representing Congress, Controller Scott Stringer, and Wei Yi Chan from Councilman in Brendan's office, and Ari Chu from Peter Body office. And we have three candidates here, and I think it's only right for them to be able to speak. First, Andrew Gennardis.
My name is Andrew Gennardis, and I'm here as a candidate for the state senate to represent this neighborhood. And I'm going to just echo what everyone has already said so eloquently. We cannot ever, ever, ever let hate like this stand in our community. We say no to hate, we say no to bigotry, we say no to discrimination, and we say no. And the battles we have ahead of us are too important to let this type of hate divide us and separate us. We will stand united, and we will overcome this hate. Thank you.
And Ross Barkins.
This truly is a very sad day because we're reminded once again that hate like this is in our own backyards. That's not just abstract. It's not just coming out of Washington. We have sick people who want to discriminate against our community, our neighbors, right here in Brooklyn, in Bensonhurst. We say it loud and we say it clear. No hate belongs here. Thank you.
And Ethan Luster.
This type of hatred. Yeah. This heinous act was unacceptable, despicable, and we will not tolerate it in this community. Enough is enough. End the hatred today. Thank you again. My name is Ethan Lustigo Gravely, candidate for Assembly in the 46th District.
We're also joined by Katie Wong from Senator Golden's office. And our last speaker, Ari Kagan, the district leader. And I noticed that the mother of Officer Liu is here, who was the first Chinese officer to die in the line of duty several years ago. And we need to keep in mind that when a community gives their son to lay down their life, it says a lot, and it really personifies the important role the Chinese community has played. When her son lost his life, it was a signal of how important this country is to all of us.
My name is Ari Kagan. I represent New York City Controller Scott Stringer. Controller Stringer sent me today to send a clear message to our Chinese American brothers and sisters that we stand together in New York City, capital of the world. Clear. Anybody who does any hate in this city should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Again, on behalf of New York City Controller Scott Stringer, I wanted to express our solidarity with our Asian American brothers and sisters. Thank you so much.
I think it's only fitting, Irene, to say a few words.
Yesterday, when we first found this incident, I've been closely talked to the assemblyman, and also we've been spoken to 62nd Precinct, and we instantly report to the police. This kind of behavior, we want to send a strong message to the community. It's not acceptable. And this kind of hate shouldn't be exist or accept or happen in our community. Here on behalf of our Assemblyman Peter Abadi, I would like to thank all the elected officials and Borough President Ari Adams for putting this up to send a strong message to the community. We all stand together and we're gonna fight and find this person and bring it to justice. Thank you.